The spark in the dark. The UHS Resolute sliced through the void, its hull gleaming against the distant glow of a dying star. Captain Elias Varian stood on the bridge, arms crossed, watching the tactical display. The red markers swarming over Carthage. 9 told him everything he needed to know. The Dominion had arrived first. "They're glassing the colony," Commander Hayes muttered. "Damn insects didn't even give them a chance." Varian exhaled slowly, forcing his anger into something useful. The Verkesh, the dominant species of the Galactic Dominion, saw humanity as nothing more than vermin. But humans had a way of proving the galaxy wrong. "Fleet-wide transmission," he ordered. "We burn them out of our sky." The Resolute led the charge, its railguns spitting slugs at near-light speeds. The battle erupted in a blinding cascade of explosions as human warships clashed with Dominion destroyers. Bright blue plasma lanced through the darkness, slicing through a smaller human frigate. The ship detonated, its crew lost in an instant. Varian barely flinched. There would be time to mourn later. Carthage, 9, surface. Lieutenant Mara Kess pressed her back against a crumbling wall, rifle tight in her hands. The Dominion's insectoid warriors, 6-limbed, armored brutes, scuttled through the ruins, clicking to each other in their guttural tongue. Around her, the remnants of her Marine squad prepared for a final stand. 12 soldiers, 3 plasma rifles, a handful of grenades. Against an entire Dominion ground force. Sergeant Darius grinned, blood streaking down his forehead. "Guess this is it, huh?" Mara checked her ammo. "Not yet." A distant rumble. Then the sky burned. Human ships broke through the clouds, weapons unleashing hell. The Dominion soldiers hesitated, just enough. Mara raised her rifle. "Now!" Her Marines struck like lightning. Plasma rounds melted chitin. Grenades tore the aliens apart. She moved like a ghost through the smoke, knife flashing, carving a path through the enemy. A Dominion warrior lunged. She sidestepped, drove her blade into its throat, then yanked her rifle up, blasting another. Around her, humanity refused to fall. Then, the voice came through her comms, clear and commanding. "Reinforcements inbound. Hold the line." Mara grinned, wiping blood from her visor. "Copy that, Captain. Let's finish this." The sky roared as drop pods slammed into the battlefield. Humanity was here to stay. War had come to the stars, and the Dominion had just made a mistake. Blood and steel. The wreckage of Dominion warships drifted through the void, silent tombs in the darkness. But Captain Elias Varian had no time for the dead. The battle was far from over. "Status on enemy reinforcements?" he asked, his voice sharp. Commander Hayes studied the tactical display. "We've crippled their fleet, but a few ships are regrouping. Looks like they're rallying around a dreadnought." Varian narrowed his eyes at the towering behemoth of alien engineering. A Dominion Harbinger-class dreadnought, bristling with plasma cannons and shielded by overlapping energy fields. A direct assault would be suicide, unless you were human. "Prepare the Ragnarok cannon," Varian ordered. Silence filled the bridge. The Ragnarok was experimental, a railgun so powerful it could tear through planetary crusts. They had one shot. If it failed, they were dead. "Target locked," the weapons officer confirmed. Varian let out a slow breath. "Fire." A pulse of energy ripped through the ship as the cannon discharged. The round struck the Dominion dreadnought midsection, piercing shields, armor, and core. A split second later, the behemoth exploded, shockwaves rattling the fleet. The remaining Dominion ships hesitated, then broke formation, fleeing into the void. Cheers erupted on the bridge. Varian allowed himself the briefest nod of satisfaction. The Dominion had learned a valuable lesson today. Humanity did not run. Carthage 9, surface. Lieutenant Mara Kess ducked as a Dominion plasma round seared past, melting a chunk of rubble behind her. She rolled, raised her rifle, and put 3 rounds into the insectoid soldier charging her. The enemy was faltering. Dominion warriors were disciplined, but not adaptable, and they weren't used to humans refusing to die. "Push forward," she roared. Her Marines advanced, using cover and brutal close-quarters tactics. They weren't just fighting to survive, they were fighting to win. A Verkesh officer, larger than the rest, barked orders, rallying the Dominion troops. Mara saw the opportunity. She sprinted forward, dodging plasma fire, boots pounding against blood-soaked dirt. The officer turned, mandibles clicking in alarm. Too late. Mara's combat knife slammed into its throat. The alien gurgled, limbs twitching before collapsing. The moment their leader fell, the remaining Dominion troops lost their cohesion. Kill them all, Mara ordered. Her Marines didn't hesitate. The battle ended minutes later. The last Dominion soldier slumped against the ruins, his chitinous armor soaked in black blood. Mara exhaled, scanning the battlefield. Humanity had held. Her comms crackled. Kes, this is Resolute. Enemy forces retreating. Extraction inbound. Mara wiped sweat and blood from her face. Copy that, Captain. Then a new voice broke through the channel, weak but defiant. A captured Dominion officer. Your species fights well, but the real war has not begun. Mara's grip tightened on her rifle. Let them come. Scorched heavens. The void above Earth was anything but silent. The Dominion Extermination Armada had arrived. Captain Elias Varian stood on the bridge of the UHS Titan's Wrath, the largest warship ever built by humanity. Through the reinforced viewport, he saw the alien fleet blot out the stars. Thousands of Dominion warships, led by a Worldbreaker-class super dreadnought, a Leviathan designed for planetary annihilation. The enemy is in position, Commander Hayes reported. They're preparing orbital bombardment. Varian's jaw tightened. The Dominion intended to glass Earth, reduce it to cinders, as they had done to countless other worlds. But this wasn't just any world. This was humanity's home. Fleet-wide transmission, Varian ordered. The comms clicked open. This is Captain Varian. The Dominion thinks they can end us today. Let's show them why humanity is the last mistake they'll ever make. Weapons free. Engage at will. The battle began. High orbit Earth. Humanity's fleet surged forward, railguns and missile salvos ripping into the Dominion's vanguard. Plasma beams lanced back, melting through hulls, but humans adapted, countered, outmaneuvered. Smaller destroyers darted between enemy formations, planting nuclear payloads that erupted in firestorms. Aboard the Titan's Wrath, Varian locked onto the Worldbreaker-class super dreadnought. Target its primary reactor, he ordered. The Ragnarok cannon charged, power surging through the ship's core. The Dominion dreadnought responded, its plasma lances carving through human battleships like knives through flesh. One strike slammed into a nearby frigate. The ship disintegrated in a blinding flash. Varian clenched his fists. Fire! The Ragnarok round tore through the void, piercing the Worldbreaker's armor. A heartbeat later, the super dreadnought detonated in a chain reaction, a shockwave so massive it shattered smaller Dominion ships nearby. A roar of victory echoed across the fleet. But the battle wasn't over yet. Earth's surface, New London defense grid. Lieutenant Marquez stood atop the last functioning turret platform, watching Dominion drop pods rain from the sky like falling stars. The alien forces had bypassed the fleet, landing shock troops to slaughter Earth's defenders. Her exosuit hummed as she readied her rifle. Around her, human soldiers held the line. This is our planet, she growled. We don't take orders from insects. The ground battle erupted. Dominion warriors poured in, six-limbed nightmares wielding plasma blades and spike rifles. Mara met them head-on, smashing one aside with her gauntlet, driving a combat knife into another's skull. Around her, human forces fought with feral intensity, refusing to break. Then came the Dominion warlords, towering, cybernetically enhanced commanders. One charged Mara, its clawed gauntlet flashing toward her. She ducked, seized a fallen plasma rifle, and fired point-blank into its head. The warlord collapsed in a heap. A moment later, the comms flared. This is Captain Varian. Enemy fleet is retreating. Earth is secure. Mara exhaled, bloodied but standing. Humanity had not been broken. But Varian's next words sent a chill down her spine. The Dominion is regrouping at their homeworld. His voice was steel. We're not stopping here. We take the fight to them. Iron stars, burning hearts. The Dominion homeworld, Virkon, loomed ahead, a planet wreathed in fire and industry. For millennia, it had stood as the unchallenged heart of an empire that crushed species beneath its rule. Now, humanity had come to burn it down. Aboard the UHS Titan's Wrath, Captain Elias Varian surveyed the battlefield. The full might of humanity's war machine had gathered, dreadnoughts, carriers, and strike craft forming an unbreakable wall of steel. The Dominion's last fleets had assembled in defense, but their formations were fractured, desperate. They never thought we'd come here, Commander Hayes murmured. They thought wrong, Varian said. All ships advance. And with that, the final battle began. High orbit, Dominion defense grid. The Dominion fought like cornered beasts, their warships throwing everything they had into the fray. Massive plasma cannons tore through human cruisers, while Dominion fighter swarms darted through the chaos. But humanity wasn't here to survive anymore. They were here to win. The Ragnarok cannon fired, slicing through the Dominion flagship like paper. Nuclear warheads obliterated enemy command stations, while elite strike teams boarded key vessels, sabotaging them from within. Then, the UHS Revenant, an assault carrier, broke through the orbital blockade. Its payload of drop pods rained down toward Virkon's surface. Among them, Lieutenant Mara Kess. Virkon, Dominion capital citadel. Mara's drop pod slammed into the war-torn city, the hatch exploding outward. She and her Marines stormed the streets, cutting down insectoid soldiers as chaos engulfed the capital. Dominion warlords barked desperate commands, but it was too late. Humanity fought like demons, carving their way through the last vestiges of alien rule. At the foot of the Imperial Spire, Mara locked eyes with Empress Verna, the supreme ruler of the Dominion. The Empress, her chitinous exoskeleton gleaming in the firelight, raised a ceremonial blade. You should not have come here. Mara raised her rifle. We should have come sooner. She pulled the trigger. The Empress collapsed, ichor pooling beneath her. The Dominion was broken. Aftermath. The galaxy changes forever. On the bridge of the Titan's Wrath, Varian watched as the Dominion forces surrendered en masse. The war was over. Humanity had not just survived. They had conquered. As Mara stood atop the ruins of the Imperial Spire, she looked to the sky. Human warships now casting their shadows over an empire that once sought to exterminate them. Varian's voice crackled through her comms. We've won, Mara. She exhaled. For now, because humanity was no longer a hunted species. They were the new rulers of the stars, and the galaxy would never forget their name.